Hey guys, what's up? Shin0555 here, coming back at you with another drawing video. And today's drawing video, we are going to be drawing Dark Supersonic again. This is a redraw, but this video was requested by Gaming Connie. Or Game Connie, there's no ing in that, just Game Connie. So thank you so much for the request. So we're going to be just drawing Dark Supersonic here. We've drawn Sonic 100 times on this channel, so let's make it 101. But I love Dark Supersonic. He is such a cool character. Love Sonic X. But other than that, remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. That really does help me out. And without further ado, let's get our pencils ready and let's jump in. Alright guys, so how we're going to start off drawing Dark Supersonic here is we're going to just draw a nice, decent sized circle. Don't make it too big because his spikes are going to take up a lot of space. So a circle kind of like that. And then what we're going to do is get another circle kind of right underneath and then like a smaller one right here. And then basically we're going to get like a nice little curve line that goes down here. And then we'll get a nice oval here for where the shoe is going to be. Then kind of off this line, we're going to get a line going up and down like this. And then we're going to get another kind of circle oval where the shoe is going to be there. We're going to get a nice big circle for the hand here. And then a little circle behind it for the glove. And this is going to go up to like where his arm's going to be. And then we're just going to get a nice circle here for where his arm's going to be and his hand. But that is pretty much it for the gesture that we need. So I'm going to zoom in here. And we're going to start doing some details. So basically with this circle, what you want to do is draw the crosshairs. They look something like this. But once you got the crosshairs done, what we're going to do is draw in his nose. So we're going to start right about here. And just draw a nice curve line going up. It's going to round over and then in like so. So you get a nice kind of bean looking shape. Then after we do that, we're going to start here and draw a nice curve line. It's going to curve up. Then it's going to dip down and then up again. So you should get like a nice little hill. And then it's going to wrap around like this. And then it's going to go into kind of this circle that we have here. And we're going to do something very similar on this side where it's just going to go down, kind of go up about there. And then when you hit the circle, you're going to go in like that. And then we can quickly get in his mouth, which is just a nice kind of curve line like this. And then a line going kind of up like that. And now for his eyes, what I like doing is starting off with kind of like a little circle, kind of right above there. And then what we're going to do is start kind of right here and draw a nice little curve line going up. Then it's going to kind of straighten out a little bit and then go over like this. And then we're going to have a nice line, a little bit before this line ends, curving down here for the eye. And then kind of right here, we're just going to get a nice curve line that goes up like that. And then here, we're going to get a little curve. It's going to go over like this. A little bit before this line ends, we're going to just draw a line curving into the eye here. And since we're drawing Dark Supersonic, he has no pupils. So that is pretty much it for the eyes. And now that I'm thinking about it, where we are at the nose, what we could do is just draw a nice little half circle right there. And then you could fill the nose in black. Kind of like that. So now we got kind of his face in. We can draw in his eyebrows. So his eyebrow is going to start right about here and just be a curve line curving over, up, and it's going to hug kind of the eye line that we have there. And then same thing on this one. It's going to go over, down, and then kind of curve in just slightly like that. And now that's done, I will zoom out here and we can kind of gesture in the head a little bit more. So basically, what I like to do is basically draw kind of like a big circle around Sonic's face, like this. And then off that circle, we can kind of start drawing in his spikes. This will follow the circle, kind of like this. It's going to curve up into like a spike there, like that. Then we'll have another kind of spike curving over and up. And they're going to be angled upwards because he's kind of like in a supersonic phase, form, that's what I meant to say. And then curve up, and then we're going to go down like that. And then here we're just going to have a little bit of a dip in. It's going to curve down and then up right about there. It's going to go in. And then somewhere around here, we're going to just have a nice little curve line and draw in that last spike there. Like that. I'm kind of getting close to the edge of the paper, so we're just going to make it look like that. So that's pretty much it for his quills. And once you have that kind of gestured in, we could start doing his ear. So his ear is pretty much this kind of curve line that goes up and then goes into like a little triangle there, like that. And then here, we're going to kind of start on like this like circle that we had. And that's kind of where the ear starts. It's just going to be this kind of big triangle without a bottom, like that. And then we're going to get a triangle with a bottom, like that. And you can kind of erase the gesture that we have here. Because that big circle line really does help on getting like Sonic's head correct. And kind of where like all the spikes should be and stuff. And then I'll just darken in these lines real quick. Darken in that one. And of course, any sketch lines, anything like that, you can just go off and erase. So now that we got that done, we can kind of gesture in his body a little bit more. So I want his shoulder to be right about here. But his upper body is going to go a little bit like in front of his like mouth here. So the way we draw that is starting kind of where the shoulder is going to start. We're going to just draw a nice curved line. It's going to curve in like that. So he's having like pumping his chest out. And you can erase any of the mouth line here, or muzzle. I guess it would be called the muzzle. Like that. Whoops. I think my pencil broke. That's okay. It's a mechanical pencil. You just hit the button. And then right here, what we're going to do is draw kind of like a nice big kind of half circle here for his, like his stomach. And now that we got that down, we could actually draw in his hand, because his hand takes a lot of real estate on this one, because kind of like foreshortening. So the hand's kind of like in front, like he's reaching towards the camera. So to draw that in, I'm going to make the hand kind of right about here. I'm going to lower it just a little bit because we had to lower this. But basically, the way I'm going to draw this hand is we're going to get a nice kind of big oval for the thumb here. And then the hand's going to be on this kind of arc. So we could kind of draw in like 4 circles here. Like that. So these are going to be the fingers. And the fingers are just going to go out. This one's going to go straight out. This one's going to go straight out. This one's going to go straight out. And then this one's going to have like a little bit of a curve into it where the pinky is. And when you're drawing things on like, especially hands, the fingers always follow the curve. So there should be like an arc for where the fingers meet, like that. So you just want to keep that in mind when you're drawing hands, and especially on this angle because it's like kind of wonky and like foreshortening. But the thumb is going to be about here, and it's just going to go out and then be something like that. But we're going to go into detail here. So I'll zoom in just slightly, and we're going to start off with the thumb. So what we're going to do is start right about here and draw a nice curve line going down. Then we start hitting this oval shape. We're just going to dip it in and then out, and it's going to wrap around, dip in slightly like that. And then starting from this line, we're going to go straight into the index finger here. So it's going to go out, kind of bend where the knuckle is, straighten out on top, and then wrap around and go in like there, like that. And then this finger is going to go off this one, so it's going to go out, kind of get to the tip of that curve, and then it's going to go in like that. Then we'll have one more for, I think this is the ring finger, and the pinky finger is going to curve in a little bit, kind of go in like that. And now for like the palm here, what you want to do is have it kind of go curve out just slightly and then curve into where the pinky is, like that. And then right in the middle here, you're just going to get a curved line. Now I'm going to erase some of the guidelines here because it's very sketchy. Actually, I should get my better eraser for this. Just clean it up just slightly and I'll redraw some of it in. But again, this is a good reason why when you do your like sketch lines and guidelines and stuff like that, do them very light. So when you do erase, you are left with the just kind of correct lines, and you can make it look nice and professional. That's a big rookie mistake, is like when you start drawing, you just start drawing in like really hard. Don't do that. So now we've got the hand there. Now we could draw in the cuff of the glove, which is very simple. Basically what you're going to do is draw a nice, I'm going to keep this light, kind of like a nice ring around his wrist, and you're going to get another one like this, and then what you want to do is erase the middle here, like so, and then just darken in kind of what's left. And there you go. And then this is going to go into his shoulder here, and a big trick for this is make it thinner up here, and then as you go out it gets wider. We don't have a lot of room for it, but that's something to keep in mind to help sell the idea of him like putting his hand forward. And then once you have that, we would see a little bit of his back spikes, but we're going to draw that in a second. Because basically what we want to do is kind of keep this round shape for his like stomach, and we're going to start right about here. And just draw a nice little curve line going down like this. And now this is where, actually you could even like finish this off. We'll erase this, but you want a nice little curve line like that. And then we're going to get kind of like a line just going to go straight down into the shoe here. So basically what I'm going to do here is draw two kind of nice parallel lines like this going down. And then that's actually pretty good. So at the end of these, what we're going to do is draw a nice oval that goes around both of them like this. But before we finish this off, this leg actually goes into the other leg. So instead of going straight up, it's going to go kind of across. So basically you're going to get a curve line that goes across like this, and then you're going to erase kind of this section. And then you're going to blend this one into that line like that. And then this leg is going to go out, kind of over, and then in like this. And then this will kind of curve in slightly. And then just get another line going in like that. And then you would see a little bit of his tail, which is like a nice little triangle right there. And you'd see a little kind of curved line for his back spike right there. But then we got that down, we could draw in the shoes. And what we're going to do is the same shape that we did up here, we're going to do right here. So we're going to get that oval that goes around like that. And then another one, I purposely didn't do the middle line, but again, you can imagine, goes right there. Erase the middle of that. And now the shoe itself, it's pretty simple. It's basically just kind of like this shoe shape. So it looks something like that. And then, actually that's pretty good. And then what we can do is gesture in the strap, which would be two kind of parallel lines that go around it like this. And now we can start drawing in some detail here. What we want to start off with is the buckle, because it's kind of in front of everything. So to draw the buckle, you just draw like this nice little rectangle like this, and then we're going to give it a little bit of depth. But what we're going to do is, by drawing a line going out, over and in, this one's going to go out and in, so we made it look kind of 3D now. And you don't want it to overlap this line, which we could actually just darken in right now. And then here we're just going to go over and just darken in that like that. And then the last thing you want to do is just get a smaller rectangle on the inside there, like so. And then you could just darken in this shoe shape that we have, because it's pretty solid. And then all you want to do is on the bottom here, draw a line going down, and then curve it around, and then up like that for the sole of the shoe. And if you want to, you can shade this part in black, and then this one in black too. Makes it, gives it a little bit more depth. And now we're pretty much going to draw the same thing just with this shoe. The only difference is we're going to put this oval kind of on like an angle, like this. So instead of going like across, it's kind of going more up. But what we're going to do is end up doing the kind of the exact same thing that we did for the other shoe, like that. Shade this in black, shade this in black, like so. And then this foot's kind of angled more downwards. So it's going to be something like this. And then we gesture in that strap here. And the good thing about this shoe is it's on the inside, so we don't see the buckle. So we got one less step. So really what I could just do is just darken in this, kind of wrap it around like that, over and in like so. Darken in this line like this. And then just draw the sole of the shoe on the bottom like so. Nothing too crazy. And then last we need to do is just draw in his closed fist. That is right here. And this one's not too bad. Basically, it's going to be about this big, and I like doing like a curve line, then going out, over, and then down, and then kind of boxing it out like that. And then we'll have like the cuff and then the curve line for the arm going up like that. So once you have like a gesture like this where you kind of boxed it out, so this is going to be like where the thumb is, this is kind of like the general shape of the hand and the fingers that will go in like that. We can do a little bit more detail. So I like doing the 4 ovals for the fingers, and again they go on an arc. That's very important when you do fingers. Arcs are very important. But what we're going to do is start off with the thumb because it covers some stuff. So basically for the thumb, it's just going to start right about here and just be this kind of big curve line that wraps around like this. And it's going to go over and then in, but it's not going to touch itself. It's just going to be this kind of like big kind of hook shape. And now here we're going to actually start out with the pinky. So what I like to do is draw basically a line going in between all of the fingers here. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, like that, so to separate the 4 fingers. And then the pinky finger here is going to go out, down, kind of wrap around, and it's going to have a little curve line like that. And then here we're going to get a little bump, and it's going to go up and connect into that line. This line's just going to go up and down, and this line's going to go up, down. We're going to have a little bit of a bump for the knuckle here, and it's going to straighten out here and then curve down like this. And I'll have a little curve line here showing this kind of line kind of wrapping around. And then what we could do is erase some of these guidelines here. I'm going to have to redraw some of it in, but that's okay. So we got the pinky that wraps around, goes up and over. We got the thumb here. And again, prime example of why you always do the gesture lines very light. And the last thing you want to do here is on that arc here, you want to draw little curve lines where the knuckles are. It helps show like the fingers bending like that. And then we can get a nice little curve line going in here, and we'll get a nice little bump here like that. We won't see any of it on this side, and then we'll just get a curve line going into like his stomach there like that. And that is pretty much how you draw Dark Supersonic. A very cool character, one of my favorite. I love Dark Supersonic. He is so cool. He's only been in the series for like 2 seconds, but he is just too cool to not like. So anyway guys, I will put the sketch that I just did up here. I will put the inked version I did beforehand up there as well. So hopefully you were able to follow along with the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you guys have any questions about this one, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And if you guys have requests, leave that in the comments as well. And just tune in on Sunday when I make a drawing video. Hopefully yours pops up. But thank you again, Game Connie. There's no ing, it's Game Connie. Thank you so much for the request. I do appreciate it. I hope you can draw Dark Supersonic now. And I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, thanks, bye. Later.